You didn't even realize, stupid man. For a long time, you have been set up. When my fiancée, Emily, said this, I was speechless. Her icy look pierced me, and I could no longer see the soft smile she always gave me. Set up by who? I still don't get it. By me. Emily smiled icily at me and snuggled sensuously against Joe, our manager. I knew they were involved when I saw Joe put his arm around her waist. I lost my job and felt as like I had been thrown into the depths of sorrow after being betrayed by my darling fiancé. I was saved from this sadness by a stunning woman whose eyes gleamed like stars. Do you want to work for my company? John is my name. I work in the division of a large record label that is in charge of artist promotion. My promotion is directly impacted by the sales of the artists I oversee. As a result, everyone employs every tactic known to increase artist sales and become the greatest. Naturally, I also want to be the best. I had to start over when my allocated artist changed recently, and I was given responsibility for a new vocalist. But there was a reason I was so driven. John, how's work going? The reason was Emily, my fiancée, who was smiling as she sat next to me while I looked at my computer screen. I felt energized just by her smile. I'm doing well. What are you currently working on? My artist is releasing a new CD, so I'm planning the promotion strategy. I added, disclosing the specifics of the plan in confidence. Emily was my cherished fiancée, but I wouldn't tell anyone else. There was no issue because I could trust her more than anyone else. What do you think of this strategy? I think it's perfect. I was elated to receive Emily's permission, which I expected from my trustworthy fiancé. I was ecstatic to be recognized by Emily, but that happiness quickly faded a few days later. I came up with a promotion technique, and for some reason Joe was employing it. Joe was in charge of Autumn Front, a boy band that was quite successful across the country. His approach to promote their next song was precisely the same as mine. What's going on, Joe? Are you not employing the tactic I devised? What? Quit bringing up unfounded charges. John, do you have any evidence that you came up with it? Yes, I had no evidence. My computer's strategic data had disappeared without a trace. Joe insisted on showing me my ideas for advertising and marketing before I could. For months, this had been taking place. Despite my best efforts to leave no data behind, Joe managed to get it released. However, I had no evidence for any of it. I was speculating. I had no choice but to grit my teeth and bear the rage that was building within of me. After that rage followed me home, I believed I was only experiencing a headache the following day, but I ended up with a high temperature and had to miss work. My fever was fully gone by the following day, so I returned to work only to be dealt a severe blow. John, you're fired. That was the first thing I was told when I was taken into the manager's office shortly after work began. I was unable to think clearly since it was so shocking. Erased. However, why? Recently, you have been performing worse. Furthermore, even I am no longer able to cover for you due to your slight illness from yesterday. What? Yesterday, I wasn't pretending. Emily attested to that. Joe stated something, and Emily entered the room. Her icy look pierced me, and I could no longer see the soft smile she always gave me. Emily, why? Stupid man, you didn't even realize you've been set up all this time. Set up by who? You still don't understand. By me. I made arrangements for a new artist to replace yours, and I told Joe about your promotion plan. I planned it all out. Emily leaned sensuously against Joe and smiled icily at me. I knew they were involved when I saw Joe put his arm around her waist. I did like you when you came clean to me. You had a promising future and were competent, but you're too needy and work-focused. Do you really think I didn't see how desperate you were to be my favorite? Now it's over. I am no longer in need of you. I felt as though I had been thrown into the abyss of hopelessness. I don't recall much of the subsequent events. Following Joe's instructions, I packed my belongings, submitted my resignation, and walked out of the company in a haze. I walked the streets aimlessly since I didn't feel like coming home. "Let me go." Suddenly, I heard a voice and instinctively turned to face it. 3 rugged-looking males were harassing a lovely woman. "Come on, just come with us to karaoke for a bit." "No, I don't want to." Anxiously, the woman glanced about. Our eyes didn't meet because I was still far away, but I felt compelled to assist her. She appeared thin, pallid, and extremely vulnerable. I couldn't just watch those men do whatever they wanted. "Hey, you guys." One of the men was abruptly slung to the ground at my feet as I stepped forward and yelled. I froze in disbelief. The flung man's eyes were rolled back, and he was unconscious. What the hell? When I looked up at the cry, I witnessed an incredible scene. With amazing vigor, the woman I believed to be weak was kicking one of the men in the stomach and then kneeing another in the mouth. Each of the men only needed one blow to be defeated. "Phew," she said, wiping the dirt from her hands. Her face instantly became pale as she turned to face me. "Did you see that?" With hesitation, I nodded and she came over to me. She grabbed my collar before I could react. Even as she glared at me, I couldn't help but notice how gorgeous her eyes were, gleaming like stars. "What's your name?" "John." "John? I believe I've heard of that name before." "Well, whatever. You know what will happen if you tell anyone what you witnessed today, don't you?" Like a frog being gazed down at by a snake, all I could do was nod. She dropped my collar. "You look like you work in an office. Why are you carrying so many bags here at this hour?" She asked me this when I was ironing out the wrinkles in my shirt. My spirits plummeted once again as I reflected on what had transpired at work. "Hey, what took place? You look so depressed all of a sudden. Why not discuss something that's upsetting you? You might feel better after doing it." In my heartbroken state, I found myself opening up to her when she gently invited me to sit on a neighboring step and talk about my problems. I told her how my employer set me up, stole my ideas and my fiancé, and caused me to lose my job. As she listened, she scowled profoundly. "That woman is the worst. Wow. Before you departed, you ought to have punched them both." Like a boxer, she clenched her hand and thrust it forward. I couldn't resist giving her antics a sour laugh. "Yeah, maybe I should have, but at the time, I was too shocked to think straight." "I understand. It's understandable that you're hurt after everything you've been through." She seemed truly sorry for me as her face softened. My heart. Her sensitivity made my heart skip a beat. "Why don't you come work for my company, John?" "Your business." "Indeed. Oh, my card is here." First Rate Productions was written on her business card, which she gave to me. Samantha Thompson. Since you work in the same field, I assume you are familiar with First Rate Productions. Yes, without a doubt. What about Thompson? By any way, are you connected to the president? Yes, I am his daughter, she said, nodding rather bashfully. You appear capable, based on what I've heard, and you made an effort to assist me in spite of your grief. That type of integrity is what we need. Please think about it. I'll speak with my father about it. Samantha got to her feet and appeared to recall her earlier activities as she glanced around. She gave me a stern look as she turned back. You have to keep the events of today a secret, even if you join the company. Promise? She firmly shook her pinky finger after hooking it with mine. She appeared content and left with a smile after I nodded several times. I continued to feel the warmth of her touch as I gazed at my pinky finger. I wanted to see her again and collaborate with her as I gazed at it. I couldn't help but chuckle at myself for having these feelings toward another woman so soon after being dumped. Perhaps I wasn't all that different from Emily. Samantha must have done a nice deed for me when I reached out to First Rate Productions about joining, because my interview was set up really promptly. I was shocked to learn that President Mr. Thompson himself conducted the interview. You're John, then. Samantha explained you to me. Having someone like you join us excites us. Welcome on board. Despite my anxiety, I received a few words of encouragement at the end of the interview, and I was hired. Everything seemed too nice to be true. The following day, I went to work. Similar to my former employer, I was placed in the promotion department. A man moved forward as I introduced myself to the squad. My name is Mike. We will collaborate on the promotion of the same artist. It's good to meet you. Are we collaborating? Yes, in this manner. We divide the profits, but if one of us is absent, the other can cover. However, sales don't really matter to me. I was taken back and a little uneasy by his casual demeanor. Was this level of relaxation really acceptable? Wouldn't other workers outperform us? However, my concerns were unjustified. Mike's approach to sales was shared by all employees at the organization. In actuality, Mike was candidly asking other staff members for their opinions on his ideas for promotions. Won't your ideas be stolen if you do that? He chuckled at my worry. Nobody in this place would do that. We emphasize how much the musicians are adored by their fans. We are here to help the artist's fans, who are the ones who enable their careers. His remarks eased my anxiety. I made the decision to attempt presenting my ideas to the other staff members and soliciting their opinions. With excited expressions, everyone listened. What a great concept for a promotion. What a genius you are. Well, there are certain shortcomings, like, while some staff members gave me advice, others commended my ideas. Compared to my former employer, working here was far more comfortable. I soon found myself anticipating my daily commute to work. Samantha was another factor that made going to work enjoyable for me. When Mike and I came back to the office one day after meeting with our designated artist, Samantha was waiting at the door. She was fumbling with some luggage that looked hefty. Let me carry those for you, Samantha. Mike smiled broadly as he ran up to her. Other male staff members then gathered nearby. No, I will transport them. No, I'll do it. I'm grateful. I'd appreciate it because I was having trouble carrying these large luggage. When Samantha gave Mike the packages and gave him a kind thank you, the male staff members' faces brightened. Samantha could easily carry the bags herself, but I could see she was acting. Samantha must have noticed that I had such thoughts shining on my face as she turned to face me. Follow me, she mouthed. My heart thumping, I followed her instructions. She showed me a storage area that was hardly used. She shut the door behind me and smashed her hand on the wall. She had to stare up at me from a distance since I was taller, but her eyes were anything but charming. I take it you haven't mentioned that day to anyone? I swear, I haven't. I answered calmly, trying to control my pounding heart. She gave me a doubtful glance, but after a while she took her hand from the wall. After taking something from her pocket, she put it in my hand. A tiny bag of vibrant sugar candy was inside. You've been putting in a lot of effort here. It's a prize. The multicolored candies glistened like little stars. I was so grateful that I clutched the bag gently, being cautious not to smash the sweets. Thank you. I will cherish these. Avoid being foolish. Consume them. We both chuckled when she corrected me right away. The new music video for the artist Mike and I were promoting went viral online after I had completely assimilated to the culture at first-rate productions. I came up with the idea for the video, and Mike and the artist worked together to make it. As a result of the favorable response, CDs and digital downloads took the top rank for the month. This is amazing. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. Mike grinned broadly and continued, The artist and the fans are thrilled. I was also congratulated by other staff members. That's fantastic. We must not allow ourselves to lag behind at this time. I couldn't have done this at my former employer. The next thing that people considered if someone was successful was how to undermine them. I'm in a new position now, though, where people appreciate each other's accomplishments. And Samantha helped me find this location. I went to find Samantha because I wanted to tell her about this. In addition, Samantha handed me some highly regarded melons as a tiny token of appreciation for the chocolates she provided me. In the office, I located her. She came out into the hallway when I called her. Our artist's new song, Samantha, became the month's top tune. I owe it all to you for introducing me to the business. I truly appreciate it. Yes, I have heard. Congratulations. She seemed a little dejected, but she did accept the melons I handed her. Is something wrong, Samantha? No, John, nothing. I don't need your gratitude. You put in a lot of effort to reach the top. After saying that, she returned to the office. Her retreating form made me want to speak, but I was unable to do so. I had no idea how to respond to someone who appeared so dejected. A few days later, the meeting room was filled with all of the staff. According to what I've heard, Mr. Thompson has a big news. What is the big announcement, in your opinion? Mike and I muttered to one another, no idea. We straightened up when Mr. Thompson showed up. His face became serious after a few words of encouragement. On Front, an idol group, recently asked us to produce their upcoming live performance. What? Autumn Front's eyes gleamed as he let out a loud cry. There was a commotion in the conference room as the other staff members were equally shocked. I was equally taken aback. However, isn't Autumn Front made by a different company? I asked, holding up my hand. Calmly, he nodded. Yes, John, your old business. However, we received the request. For our business, this is an extraordinary opportunity. I think Autumn Front will give us all of their upcoming works if we are successful. To make this a success, I need everyone's assistance. The staff rose in unison as he lowered his head. Naturally, we'll assist. To make this a success, let's all cooperate. I was caught up in the thrill. Samantha was equally excited. I noticed as I looked at her. I was relieved to see that she was no longer dejected. Even though we promised to work together, not everyone was able to participate in Autumn Front. Each of us had to oversee our own artists, who were also crucial co-workers. As a result, an Autumn Front special unit was established. I was selected to be the manager of promotions. Although I was unsure, Mike gave me encouragement. John, who else but you? Samantha was given the position as administrative manager, which delighted me. I was excited at the prospect of collaborating with her on such a significant endeavor. I went to gain Samantha's approval after preparing the budget for the live concert promotion. She had light rings under her eyes and was absorbed in her computer. Had you been getting enough sleep, Samantha? She let out a deep sigh when she looked up and discovered it was me. This position is crucial. I can't afford to take it easy. It's necessary to rest. Concentrate on your own work if you have time to worry about me. Her low-voiced and forceful comments forced me to close my mouth. I couldn't interfere further because Samantha and I were merely coworkers. I kept my worries about Samantha to myself and concentrated on my work. Days passed quickly, and the live concert day soon arrived. The venue was full, and the promotion was a huge success. I was given the responsibility of assisting with merchandise sales prior to the concert, as I had no specified duties on the day of the performance. To assist, other workers who weren't assigned to Autumn Front also sacrificed their day off. What's causing the scarcity? Samantha's voice sounded almost shouting, so I hurried over. What took place? John, it's a catastrophe. Too few glow sticks are available for us to distribute. Mike gestured toward the glow stick boxes that were prepared for the performance. There were, in fact, many fewer than were required. Samantha was furiously using her tablet while wearing a desperate expression. Her face went white. What ought we to do? I got the order quantity wrong. Samantha's remarks created a commotion among us. Just then, Autumn Front's leader, Nathan, showed up. I've heard that glow sticks are in short supply. What is happening? I apologize. I made a mistake. I placed an incorrect amount order. Are you aware of what you did? Those were intended to be enjoyed throughout the show with our fans. What's the point if there isn't enough for everyone? I sincerely apologize. Samantha lowered her head, but Nathan was clearly frustrated. I also apologize. I'm to blame for this. I surprised Nathan and Samantha by stepping in and apologizing. We'll make plans to provide glow sticks to all of the concertors today. At the next show, please make use of them. We will need to modify the scheduled glow stick activities. Please be patient with us. I'll help put things right. Nathan crossed his arms and stared at me, but then he sighed deeply and grinned. I can't remain angry if John bows his head. Errors occur. I'm glad you can help me put things right. Feeling relieved that he had agreed to our proposal, I summoned the event crew to the green room at Autumn Front to devise a fresh strategy. The concert was a huge success in spite of the light stick incident. Autumn Front and its supporters departed contented. Finally, late at night, we wrapped up after cleaning the venue. Someone pulled at my sleeve as I was hoisting my bag over my shoulder. I was shown to the rear of the venue by Samantha. She frowned as we came to a stop and approached my face. John, who are you exactly? You were treated like a king or queen by Autumn Front. Yes, at my previous employer, I was in charge of them. But halfway through, Joe took control. Samantha's eyes grew wide with insight. Hold on. I remember now. You are the renowned promoter that made Autumn Front a nationwide phenomenon, John. It's unbelievable that I forgot. Samantha lowered herself and held her head. She looked up at me and sighed deeply. This time, you came to our rescue. I'm grateful. I'll figure out a way to pay you back. It's enough for me to hear you say thank you. That can't be the end of it. Samantha scowled and balled her fists before pirouetting. It's late, Samantha. I'll walk you home. No need. After she firmly rejected me, I was unable to make any further demands. My shoulders drooped. All of the staff members were reunited in the conference room a few days following the show. Mr. Thompson was standing in front like before. Thank you for all of your hard work. Autumn Front's concert was a huge success because of you. We have the contract, and they have also stated that they would like to entrust us with future performances and songwriting. All of this is a result of your efforts. We have therefore scheduled a trip to a hot spring at the end of this month. The business will pay for everything. Naturally, it's acceptable if you are unable or choose not to take part. This is how I express my gratitude. Have fun, please. The workers were thrilled when he made the announcement. Samantha was the only one who didn't appear content. We took a charter bus to a well-known hot spring town in the nearby city at the end of the month. We had the entire inn to ourselves. We won't get into any trouble if we drink and party. Mike gave a cheer. Swimsuits are a must for hot springs. John, you know I'm excited to see Samantha in a bikini. No, I'm not. Oh, hurry up. Don't act foolish. All the guys here are looking forward to seeing Samantha in his bathing costumes. You're not an exception, are you? Mike smiled and placed his hand on my shoulder. I turned my face away in embarrassment, and he was right on. However, Samantha was not present when we assembled in the banquet hall. She claimed to have stayed in her room since she wasn't feeling well. The female employees stared at the male colleagues, who were clearly disappointed. I crept out of the banquet hall when the party was at its height. I went to Samantha's room after purchasing some sugar candies from the gift store. It's John, Samantha. How are you feeling? I brought you some sugar candy. Samantha came when I yelled at the sliding door that was closed. Her eyes gleamed. When she said, "Give me the sugar candies," my heart skipped a beat in excitement. She must be a huge fan of sugar candy. I wished I had given her sugar sweets instead of melons earlier. I looked into her room. A laptop, books, and files were piled on the desk. Were you working? Samantha chewed on the sugar candy, her face hardening. Yes, we got the deal with Autumn Front, and the concert was a huge success. However, the fact that I committed a significant error still stands. Knowing that, I can't enjoy this trip. I saw that the dark circles beneath her eyes had gotten worse. She also appeared to have a light skin. I felt a surge of worry, indignation, and concern. You should avoid overworking yourself, even when you made a mistake. What if you fall even now? I must. To live up to my father's expectations, I have to put in more effort than anyone else. I owe him a great deal and have only brought him down because he took me in, despite the fact that we are not blood relatives. I had never before discovered that Samantha and Mr. Thompson were not connected by blood. After dragging me inside the room, she shut the door. She gestured for me to take a seat on a cushion. Samantha took the pillow across from me when I sat down. My biological parents abandoned me. Their names and faces are unknown to me. I was adopted and reared by my father. I adore him, and he loves me, even if we are not blood relatives. That's why, like you, I started out in the promotion division of First Rap Productions. Samantha closed her laptop gently after taking a quick look at it. I made a lot of blunders at my first job. However, despite my failures, I had a coworker who never failed to console me. That person turned out to be a spy from another organization, but the coworker never lost their temper and lavished me with attention. They exploited me because they knew I was the president's daughter. I made the stupid decision to provide them my father's private corporate information. It almost put our business in danger of going bankrupt. When their misconduct was revealed, the other company failed, and my father was able to handle the matter. However, the fact that I made such a grave error still stands. Samantha was sitting on a pillow when a tear landed across it. I haven't been able to trust anyone save my father since then. I made a huge error even in the administrative department after being moved from the promotion department. I despise myself for it. Samantha put her hands over her face and started to tremble. I took a step toward her and gave her shoulder a gentle pat. I kept giving her a gentle back rub, not wanting to be rejected. Please look about you, Samantha. I also couldn't trust anyone because of my former employer. But this company has really wonderful people. I can state with certainty that nobody here is trying to mislead others. Samantha, you gave me this place. You have my utmost faith because of this. Please have faith in me as well. Samantha's face was smeared with tears. I smiled reassuringly at her. Samantha, you handled the glow stick shipment promptly after the concert, didn't you? Autumn Front commended the efficiency of the work. Everybody makes errors. You were able to fix yours. I'll be right here with you, and you may do it once again. I'll always be there to assist you up if you trip again. Really? Despite the fact that I'm the type of woman who can fling men around. Of course. Samantha pushed herself into my chest and started crying again. I blushed in surprise. She wept aloud while gripping my clothing. I wanted her to know that I would always be there for her, so I tenderly and firmly hugged her close. We everyone returned to work after taking a day off after the business trip. The vacation seems to have rejuvenated and inspired the staff. Since they specifically asked me to oversee Autumn Front, I was unable to decline their request. As we ate lunch during our break, John commented, "I enjoyed working with you," with a regretful expression. Samantha was at the entryway, surrounded by big boxes and bags, when we ran into her on the way back. John, "Oh, Mike, the time was ideal. Could you assist me with carrying these?" "Of course." Mike smiled and picked up the heaviest of the bags. The next two heaviest boxes I took. "Samantha, I'm happy you can trust me. Continue to depend on me." "Thank you, Mike." I felt a twinge of jealousy as I walked along them. Samantha had been increasingly dependent on other people after the business trip. This was advantageous, but it also increased her popularity. Mike and many other male employees publicly acknowledged how much they enjoyed having her depend on them. Even though I'm competent at my career, I'm a lousy person around women, to the point where Emily betrayed me. Samantha would undoubtedly pick someone who has a deeper understanding of women. Once we had completed transporting her items, Samantha pulled at my sleeve. As before, she escorted me to the storage room. "What's the matter? You appear to be agitated. Was it that obvious?" I turned away, feeling uncomfortable. My heart felt like it would explode as Samantha drew nearer. "I understand. I'm popular with the guys, so you're jealous, right? You are my biggest admirer, so don't worry." "Yes, it's quite an honor to be the first person to join my fan club, isn't it?" You own that spot. My heart raced when she winked playfully. And I'm making a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work to trust people. Samantha put her arms around me and pressed her cheek on my chest. My body stiffened at the sensation of her warmth and tenderness. She must have heard my heart pounding and laughed. Ha! Then, full of energy, she withdrew. My father would want to invite you to dinner, by the way. Will you accompany me? I nodded without fully comprehending what was going on, and my head felt like it was boiling. I'm grateful. I'll email the information to you later. Samantha walked lightly out of the storage room. My head was not the only part of my body that felt hot. The cooling process took a long time. Samantha had selected one of the city's most renowned dining establishments. I arrived 30 minutes early, dressed in a suit, and stood anxiously at the door. Mr. Thompson and Samantha pulled up in a very fancy automobile. Samantha's entrance onto the pavement captivated me. She shone like a jewel in a bright green outfit that showed off her shoulders. Behind her, the lights from the structure resembled stage lights. I apologize for keeping you waiting, John. Should we leave? I was startled back to reality by her voice, and I hurried after them inside the restaurant. John, don't worry about the rules. This is a thank you for you. As we sat down and inquired about the wine, Mr. Thompson answered, just unwind and enjoy as much as you want. I followed his advice even though I didn't comprehend the menu at all. I want to express my gratitude once more for Samantha's support as well as for the Autumn Front project. Thank you, he gave Samantha, who was sitting quietly next to him, a kind grin. Regardless of what I stated, this girl has always attempted to do everything by herself. But lately she began to depend on other people. I assumed you were involved because she talks about you a lot at home. Samantha's face flushed. Ah. She kicked him under the table, which is likely why the president gave a little yelp. I was a little alarmed. Funny. You can see that she gets angry easily, but I hope you will still get along with her. A server then showed up and set wine glasses in front of Samantha and myself. I started to call the waiter back after he didn't put one in front of Mr. Thompson, but he gestured me away. I'll be leaving you here. Samantha's voice went up. What? Nor had she been informed. I want you young folks to relax and enjoy. He walked slowly away from the table. He put a hand on my shoulder and leaned in as he went by behind me. I've prepared you for this. Take full advantage of it. He gave me a cheeky smile, waved, and walked away as I gaped at him in amazement. The server filled our glasses with wine while we exchanged perplexed glances. Let's indulge in our favorite foods and beverages. Ultimately, my father is footing the bill. I was offered Samantha's glass. I picked up my glass and gave her a gentle clink. She took a drink of her wine and grinned. The meal and wine were fantastic, of course. To say that it was the best supper I had ever had would be an understatement. My nerves slowly subsided, perhaps because it was just the two of us. Our dialogue flowed naturally. It was a tremendously fun experience. Before dessert, Samantha said, I need to go to the restroom, and got up. She looked stunning with a little flush from the wine, and I couldn't take my eyes off her. Knowing that this amazing moment would soon come to an end made me dread it. I hoped that this moment would never end. My mind continued to race while I waited for Samantha to come back, but she took a while to return. Finally, the dessert showed up. I was worried when I heard Samantha's voice as I made my way to the bathroom hallway. Don't touch me. When I hurried over, I saw a man grabbing Samantha. I was shocked to see that it was my old boss, Joe. I became enraged and yanked Samantha away from him with force. What are you doing? John, hold on. Why are you in this kind of place? That's what I should be asking you. Please don't touch my coworker. After a brief period of recoiling at my glare, Joe sneered at Samantha. So, are you collaborating with Jan? You're sure you can rely on him? This man attempted to steal my work and is a cunning jerk. I was tempted to inform him that he was the one who done that, but I held back. The last thing I wanted was to make a scene here. I tried to flee the scene by saying, "Let's go, Samantha." But Samantha squatted down a little and struck Joe in the stomach with a knee. Joe groaned horribly, gripped his stomach, and fell. "John's not that way. Return it." The voice of Samantha echoed. A crowd gathered around the commotion. Joe spat on the floor and gave us a hateful glare. "You are a violent woman. This is something you'll regret." Joe stumbled out of the restaurant, holding his stomach. Samantha's dress was ripped at the hem, which I assumed was caused by her knee strike. I gave her my jacket and such clothes. "We've got our dessert. Let's consume it." Samantha took a seat and covered herself with my jacket. Samantha appeared discouraged, despite the fact that the dessert was still beautiful despite having been resting for a long. Being the daughter of a president is really not my calling. I'm a vicious woman. Who would want me? Not even you, John. I got up and knelt at her feet without thinking. She gave me a startled expression. "I don't care if you're a proper woman or the daughter of a president. Samantha, you are loved. I appreciate how you attempt to rely on other people and how you act quickly. I adore you exactly as you are." Samantha, who had been looking at me incredulously, burst out laughing. "What is that? Who disparages the individual to whom they are confessing? Oh, I'm sorry." I apologized right away, but Samantha shook her head politely. Her eyes filled with tears, which she wiped away. "John, that really describes you. It brings me great joy. I also adore you exactly as you are. Since you are the most significant person in my life, please treat me as such." "Yes, of course." I kissed the back of Samantha's hand after taking it. Everyone around us exploded in applause. I realized all of a sudden that we were still in a restaurant. My face began to flush with shame. Samantha had a crimson face, too. I was working at my computer back at the office when Mike called out to me. "Hey, what are you up to?" "I'm developing a fresh MV idea for Autumn Front. What are your thoughts?" "Let's see. It appears promising. Really fascinating. Well done, John." I couldn't help but push out my chest a little when Mike approved my concept after reviewing the text on my computer screen. That's when Samantha showed up. Her cheeks were swelling out in frustration. "Hey, John, you ought to show your partner these things. Me first, please." All right. I'm really sorry." Samantha took the laptop from me and sat down beside me. She had returned to the promotions department after working in the administrative department. She was now collaborating with me on Autumn Front's promotion. When I noticed the band glistening on her left ring finger, I couldn't help but smile. Partners in life and in work, huh? Mike shrugged his shoulders and remarked, "You two look so happy." As though recalling something, he remarked, "Oh, by the way," and gave me a little touch on the shoulder. "Hey, you know what? I take assuming that Autumn Front signed with us. Thus, they severed their connection with your former employer." "Yes, it is correct. Additionally, I've heard that the manager of Autumn Front was let go. He was held accountable for losing a significant client." I couldn't resist saying, "What?" Joe was in charge of Autumn Front when I departed. Autumn Front had been complaining about the new boss's poor performance for some time, and they wanted the old manager to return, but the corporation never paid attention. That makes sense. They came at us out of the blue for that reason, especially because you were present, John. Samantha smiled brightly at me as she looked up from the laptop. Being so appreciated by Autumn Front made me happy. I suddenly remembered Emily. How did her relationship with Joe turn out? Despite her animosity toward me, she engaged me in the hopes that I would advance in my career. How were they doing now that Joe had been fired? I was abruptly kicked in the shin. I yelled in agony and immediately passed out. What took place? Mike inquired in a worried tone. "John, didn't you have another woman on your mind?" "No, I wasn't." Samantha scowled at me before I could continue, so I dropped to my knees. "I had her on my mind." "All right. We value honesty," Samantha snorted. "You're completely whipped, John. Are you certain you can keep Samantha safe in this way?" I groaned both literally and psychologically as Mike teased me. Without a doubt, Samantha was stronger than I. I might want to start going to the gym. After Mike departed during the break, I was using my phone to seek for gym recommendations when Samantha grabbed it. The gym. I'll train you myself, so you don't need to attend one. She put her hands on her hips, closed the browser, and leaned in so that our noses nearly touched. My heart pounded. I'll make you the most attractive and powerful fiancé ever. Her eyes gleamed like stars as she smiled confidently. The competitive environment at my former job made me concentrate over becoming the greatest, but I've discovered that it only wears me out. Appreciating what you already have is more essential than trying to be the greatest at anything. For the corporation, it's the staff. For the artists, it's their fans. And for me, it's Samantha. I promised to do everything in my power to keep my number one safe.